Dear friends, in the previous episode, we tried to understand why we are constantly drawn towards this world and what this attraction is meant to teach us. We saw this world is in reality a test, and this test has been made so beautiful and attractive and lucrative that human beings naturally become captivated by it. I and you all. Yet, hidden within that beauty is a deception, so that we may realize that this world is not our final destination. The final destiny is somewhere else. But this leads to a much bigger question. If this world is only a test, then why was it created this way? Allah could have created us in such a way that we would always do exactly what He wanted. There would have been no sin, no disobedience, and no struggle. So why did He give human beings free will? Let us reflect on that question today. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, the one whose mercy has no limits, no measure, never comes to an end. In the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 30, Allah says, "And when your Lord said to the angels, indeed, I am placing upon the earth a Khalifah." My friends, the word Khalifah is extremely important here for you to understand the next chain of thoughts. The literal meaning of Khalifa is successor. But this immediately raises an important question. Allah has always existed and will always exist. He was never born, nor will He ever cease to exist. So how can Allah possibly have a successor? Obviously, a successor replaces someone who leaves his positions or abandons his role. For example, when a father passes away, his children become his successors. We have definite rituals in place to follow this. But that can never apply to Allah, the Creator. So why does Allah use the word Khalifa? If we reflect upon this verse, while keeping Allah's eternal nature in mind, it appears that Allah is telling us something profound. He's saying, by my own will, I'm entrusting human beings with a degree of authority and responsibility on the earth. Keep in mind the concepts of management, decentralization and delegation of authority. This is Allah's decision, and no one except Allah could make such a decision. Now let us move forward. If Allah is granting mankind authority, and then naturally human beings must possess certain essential qualities that enable them to exercise that authority wisely. This is why in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 31, Allah says, "And He taught Adam all the names." Now notice something very interesting. When Allah speaks about Himself, He says that the most beautiful names belong to Him alone. But regarding mankind, He says that Adam was taught all the names think carefully about the difference. If Allah is entrusting mankind with authority on the earth, then human beings must also be given the required knowledge and abilities necessary to make decisions and perform. That is why, if you reflect upon Allah's 99 beautiful names, you will find that many of them have a limited reflection within human beings. Human beings can show mercy. Human beings make decisions. Human beings create and build things. Human beings can seek justice or even revenge. They possess intelligence, understanding, and creativity. But there is a fundamental difference. Only Allah is Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful. Only Allah is Al-Mutakabbir, the supremely great. Only Allah is Al-Khaliq, the sole creator. Only Allah is Shadidul Iqab, severe in punishment. Only Allah is Al-Hakim, the perfectly wise. Human beings possess only a limited reflection of these qualities, while their perfect and absolute form belongs to Allah alone. Now let us understand this through a simple example. Imagine the owner of a large company decides to appoint someone to run that company. The owner keeps the highest authority with himself, but entrusts that person with the responsibility of making most day-to-day decisions. Naturally, that person must possess leadership, wisdom, fairness, judgment, and competence similar, at least to some degree, to that of the owner, who is the absolute power holder. And there is a principle in management, principle of absolute responsibility. Otherwise, the owner's decision to appoint him would fail. But consider another important point. If the owner intended that person to do only what the owner personally dictated every moment, then what was the point of appointing a manager at all? The owner could simply have done everything himself. The very same question applies here. If human beings were only meant to do whatever Allah directly compelled them to do, then why appoint them as Khalifa? The rest of creation already functions exactly like that. The sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the oceans, the trees, the animals. Everything in creation follows Allah's command without choice and without question. But human beings are different because they have been created as different. They have been given the ability to choose. Why? Because in His infinite wisdom, Allah decided to grant mankind authority according to their capability. But before granting such tremendous responsibility, a test becomes necessary. It must first be seen. Will a person choose mercy when they have the power to take revenge? Will they allow wisdom to overcome emotion? Will they use power responsibly? Will they establish justice? Will they rise above personal desires? Will they prove worthy of responsibility entrusted to them? Because every authority brings with it two possibilities: the possibility of doing good and the possibility of doing wrong. We witness this around us every day. Many people begin to misuse even the smallest amount of power. If a little power can corrupt a person, then imagine magnitude of the responsibility carried by Allah's Khalifah, Such an honor cannot be granted without a test. And there is a test, there must also be examination and accountability. Then based upon that accountability comes the judgment of paradise and hell. Every one of these concepts is connected. The Quran presents them as parts, rather as integral parts of one complete and coherent picture. There are no contradictions. Everything fits together perfectly. So, my friends, if we truly wish to become worthy of being Allah's Khalifa, then we must first understand the true nature of this material world. No matter how beautiful it appears, it is only the arena of our examination. Its beauty is temporary. Its attractions are temporary. The real life is the one that comes after it. And if we hope to be worthy of the responsibility Allah intends for us, that we must learn to live in this world according to His guidance. According to His guidance. I hope today's discussion gives you something meaningful to reflect upon. I have very forcefully put forth the point. Next week, we will continue this discussion further. Thank you very much. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. And our final call is that all praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you all.